Yes, people, Black Eyes TV back again, bringing it to you live as we move and groove back into the health paradigm this evening. Yeah, we're joined by a special guest, but before we get to the lady, let's talk to our co-host, Mr. Riggs. Were you there? Riggs. But no. All right, Riggsy's soon to come back and join us, but before we get to him, we have a special guest joining us for another UK USA link up show, Queen Nubia herself. Yeah, from the BLACKBERRY Academy, joining us live and dives in the house. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, welcome. We haven't seen you in a hot minute.
Yeah,
since you came to the UK for the Urban Kryptonite tour. So what have you been doing in that meanwhile, my dear? Tell us, give us a catch up.
Well, thank you. First of all, shout out to Black Eyes TV 7. And yes, I remember coming to London and being able to be interviewed right in where we were serving the food and having a meeting. And that was a wonderful adventure. So I just want to thank you for that. It was really beautiful. It stayed with me. So I'm so happy to be back on Black Eyes TV 7. Yes, I am in the US, and what's happening is I have something called the BLACKBERRY Beauty Academy. It's ancient African wisdom for the modern sister. And it really is, my mission is to serve Black women and help them to create the life they really want, the healthy lifestyle they want. So I just don't deal with the food, I deal with the psyche, I deal with the relationships, I deal with the businesses that they want. So I really deal with the challenges, the womb issue. So it's a real lifestyle, because in order for us to truly be happy, I think all areas in our lives have to feel balance. And so so BLACKBERRY Beauty Academy is growing, and I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the courses that I teach. And I'm excited about some of the speaking engagements that I'll be doing and retreats. And so it's a good place. It's a good place for Black women to feel like themselves and to feel comfortable with each other. And it's important for me to create spaces like that.
Most definitely. And just for the people, where are you coming out of today? Because I know we was talking earlier, you used to be in LA, but where are you now? Just tell the people.
Right. So I used to be in California, which is on what we call the West Coast of the US. And now I'm in North Carolina, which is the East Coast. So I'm closer to New York than I was before. So I'm in the South. We call it the southern part, the southern states. And I love it. My husband and I, we bought 18.5 acres of land. We came here to buy land, to build a home, and to really create this, Black town, however it may look. So so we're loving where we are now. We've been here for 1 year, and it's been good. It's been good.
All right. Look, I think we're joined now by Mr. Riggs. Riggs, you sorted yourself out?
Yeah, there's a problem with the computer, but don't worry. I know.
I'll hold you down.
About the complications, and sorry about the delays. But you know how Black Eyes TV, no matter people try to stop us, we try to blow up as much as possible.
Yeah.
So, how have we gone so far?
We're doing good. I'm doing great. Richard is doing great, I think. So we're just waiting on you, Mr. Terry.
Okay. So what I'm saying is since this big introduction that we have for you of coming in, and especially for the women out there, you've been giving a lot of people big inspirations and all the stuff that you've been doing on your YouTube. Let's go straight back into that part-time of when you began and when we met up through the Urban Kryptonite, so that people can get a great understanding of where you're coming from.
Yeah, so thank you. So, yes, I actually, there is a brother, his name is Taudi Ma'atra, and actually he is what we call in the States, what you call anywhere, he's an herbalist. And one day, I have women that watch my channel. My channel is definitely primarily for women to promote health and healing and love for ourselves, and to remember who and what we are, because sometimes we forget how amazing we are as a woman, especially as a Black woman, because everything in society will tell you you're less than, you're not as good as this one, or you're not a good mother or a good wife. And so my answer to that is, yes, you are. And just remembering who you are and healing yourself so all the beauty within you can come true. And so sisters were watching my channel, and I didn't know about Brother Tahuti at this point. Actually, I did, but I wasn't watching his channel. And a sister said, Brother Tahuti got in touch with me. And he said to me, there's been sister after sister telling me that there's a woman that's in California just like you. They telling Tahuti, because he didn't know about me. And I know you said you want to do a tour and you need a female to talk about the health perspective of Black women. And I think she would be perfect. And so he got in touch with me. And the rest is history. I mean, he called me down to LA. I actually was in Oakland, California, which is about, on a drive, I'll say 5 or 6 hours away from LA. And he called me down to the Los Angeles area. And we actually started doing workshops together on health and healing and womb work and raw foods. I'm very much the raw foodist. And after that, he had this thing. I think he got I forget the sister's name, but she wanted us to come down and talk about urban kryptonite. Yeah. So he invited me to be in a movie called Urban Kryptonite, which really talked about these so-called diseases that Black folks are supposed to get, like high blood pressure or diabetes. And in actuality, it's not that we're prone to these diseases. It's that it's not hereditary, as they like to tell us. It actually is the foods that we eat. And so this movie really was a great movie. I love it. It blew up, and we got to do it and talk about it and kind of tour the London area. I met Brother Richard, met you, Terry, Mr. Riggs. You took us all over, and I appreciate that. The Marcus Garvey House and all the other sites, and the museum, the British Museum, they had the Kemet display, and it was everything. So yeah, my message is always that Black women, you have to forgive yourself if you have anything to forgive, and you can heal yourself, but you can live a great and happy life, and you got to remember who you are. So I push that, I promote that. I want us to feel good about ourselves. And I know some people will say, oh, it doesn't matter. Why Black women? Why don't you talk to all women? I don't, the experience that I've had, it's been different with white women and Black women because of our collective Holocaust, enslavement Holocaust, whether you're from the Caribbean, whether you're from South America, or whether you're from the States or wherever you are in the diaspora, we've suffered. And people may not think that it matters or that it is still showing up in our lives, but it does show up in our lives. And it shows up as anger or fear. It shows up as depression, anxiety. It shows up as diseases like cancer, diabetes, blood pressure, womb issues. And so my thing is, how can I make us feel good, but also give real courses, teach them things that I learned from my mother, my grandmother, my great-grandmother. That's why I say ancient African wisdom. Now I say from the modern sister. I believe that everything that comes to me comes from the divine. So everything you think you don't know, the divine knows. And all you got to do is leave yourself as an open vessel, a channel for the divine to talk to you. I'm not that young, but I'm not that old to be knowing everything that comes out of me. So I know it's beyond me, it's the divine. So when you cleanse your body and your mind and your spirit, the divine will be like, yeah, I want to use you. And so that's what I want to be, a vessel to my people and for my people.
That's so. And listen, let me say again, Urban Kryptonite is out there. Big up to Cold Cheese Taraksa, who has also appeared on our show. Again, gracing us, talking about the health paradigm, what's best, what's not, foods to just try and incorporate in your everyday life. I want to say big up to the chat room as well, firing off. Big up to MBK in the house, supporting the cause. Always go and check out the new Black Knowledge channel, MBK. Go and support my brothers, because we all need to support Black media out here, including our sister here. Who has a channel. What's your channel called again?
So my channel is called BLACKBERRY Beauty Academy. So it's easy to remember. BLACKBERRY Beauty Academy. In the U.S., there's an African-American proverb, and it says, the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. And this was a saying that was said to you know, oftentimes because of our, again, our collective trauma and even damage that we had caused from slavery, a lot of us will look at the darker of each of ourselves, the darker skinned woman or the darker skinned man, particularly for little girls, and they would say, "Oh, you're so ugly, you so black, you so ugly." And what your grandmother, your mother would say is, don't mind them, don't listen to them, baby. Don't you know the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice? So that's why my husband, actually, we were thinking of a name for my company. This is when I first started. And I said, it's got to be black something. And he's like, what about Blackberry Beauty? And I was like, yeah, Blackberry Beauty. So that's how that came about.
That's all. Some things just work straight away, innit?
Mm-hmm.
When you hear it, it just connects.
That's right.
Connects. Again, go to Black Eyes TV. You can see our sister giving an interview back when she did come to the UK for Black Eyes TV, talking about what she was hoping to get out of her journey to the UK. And there's a closing interview also at the end of the 2 days, where she gave her roundup and her thoughts on what she found appealing while being in the UK and presenting that information. So again, go and check that out. You know, go and have a look, support Black media. Again, big up to my brother MBK in the building. Yeah, go and support the YouTube channel, as well as go and support our sister here, and go and subscribe. So when you're dealing with this academy, what are the stages? Where are we going from? Are we dealing with just health? Are we just dealing with beauty? What are the modules? What are the sectors? Let's break it down.
Thank you. That's a great question. So what I do is, you know, it's 12 months according to the calendar that we all use. It's 12 months in a year. And so what I do is every month I focus on a different category or a different topic. So let's say, for instance, this month is January. So we're in January 2018. And this month we're focusing on I do something called a 21-day intensive. And I focus on a specific topic. This topic this month is called Black to Business. You know how we say back to business, but this one is called Black to Business. And so really, you know, I'm all about, I said health. So I even mean, when I talk about health, I'm even talking about financial health, because I think that as we're really coming to terms, I think the Black people around the world are realizing that we have to own our own media. We have to own our own businesses. We have to own our own homes and land. And so I'm doing that. I'm teaching Black women how to, if they want to come out of the system, how to create their own businesses and knowing that they can have Black businesses, not to be afraid of a business called a Black business, knowing that they can thrive. And how I've done it, I've been in business online for over almost, oh my God, my daughter, I can't even, maybe 10 years. And then in general, for the last 21 years, I did some private work. So I show women how to be financially healthy, but always from an Afrocentric point of view. Because I talk a lot about the things that we buy. Why can't we find somebody that looks like us that sells it? And how supporting that. So I really break it down. We go through business plans, but we also go through what's stopping us from having what we want. Because a lot of times we as Black women, so what is my business class different from maybe a business course that's taught by somebody that's not Black or doesn't look like me? My thing is I deal, again, with the issues. A lot of women have great ideas. They got ideas for businesses. They've had the ideas for years, but they won't actually do it, because they're afraid that what if this new business doesn't pay as much as their job? What if they have to go back to work? So they have a lot of fears. And for a Black woman to leave her job, it's not as easy for her to go back and get another one. That's a little different than maybe other cultures, because the other cultures have each other. So Asians can go back into their community. They know they have a network, and that network will make sure somebody gives them a job, whether they're Indian, whether they're Chinese, whether they're Japanese. Same thing with Jewish folks or other people. So when our folks think about quitting their job to go work for themselves, you got to unpack all of that fear that comes from the fear, I believe, of generations of passing down. So I remind them, though, that we had Madam C.J. Walker. I remind them of people like A.G. Gaston, one of the first Black millionaires in the southern states where slavery was prevalent. Madam C.J. Walker, numerous amounts of Black folks that were prosperous during a time when we only had each other. And so I'm always reminding them of where we come from so they know that there's no limit to where they can go. So every month is something different. Next month is Afrocentric Spiritual House Cleansing, because our homes as women is so important. And most women, some women forget that the magic is in the house, where you set your chair, how you can make your own cleaning products to keep your house clean, what you put at your front door to keep evil away, what colors you use in your house to promote happiness or joy, fragrances, aromas. So that one will be starting February 4th. It's always the first Sunday of every month, and it's a 21-day intensive. So that's kind of some of the things that I'm doing. But I also I got recordings of meditations to keep people together. I got recordings that they can buy of raw food recipe demos where I'm showing you my favorite recipes that I've had for over 8-9 years. So always bringing them into something. Right now we're doing a lovely course every Sunday now. It's called Sunday Specials. It's called Everything You Ever Wanted to Know About Daily Detoxing. And what we're talking about now is not just detoxing using remedies like food or kidney liver flushes, all these other things that some people know, fasting, taking herbs. We're talking about the detoxing from racism, white supremacy. We're talking about the detoxing from not feeling like enough in society, being the only Black person at your job. You have to detox from that, because a lot of women get great anxiety from that. And until we come together, you don't really know that Black women are going through all these things separately. So the Academy is a place for us to realize, oh my goodness, I'm not crazy. I'm not alone. She's dealing with this too. How do we heal from that? So that's a lot. That's some of it. It's a lot, but a lot of other stuff. But it's all in that vein, all in that realm.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You with us, Charles?
Yeah. I'm just trying to say there's an issue with the computer. What I wanted to ask is, especially in the world we're in today and in detoxing, I just want you to give us a little breakdown on what detoxing is about and why we should detox.
Great. I would love to. So the idea is most people, when they think of detoxing, let's think about, like you said, why do people detox? Most people detox because they felt like they didn't eat right for a while. So maybe they ate the wrong foods. Maybe they ate too much of the wrong foods, right? Maybe they were in toxic relationships, toxic environments, right? Literally, like it could have been environmentally unsafe places, a lot of pollution. So this is what most people think, wow, I'm detoxing. So they do, I like to say they do wrong all year. All of us, we don't do the right thing maybe half the year. And then, spring comes and everybody goes on a juice fast, which is detoxing. So detoxing is the releasing of the toxins from our bodies. And the ways that can show up is, we can do that is in water fasting, juice fasting, raw food fasting, taking herbs, numerous things. But my idea is this: we could actually daily detox on a daily basis, that's the way nature intended. And so some of those daily detoxings are sitting out in the sun. See, that helps pull toxins from your body. Taking a sea salt bath will actually help you not only pull the toxins out, but right away. See, the thing with the detoxing, when you're done wrong always for 6 months and then you decide to do a detox, the body has to work so hard because it has so much of a buildup. But if you're daily detoxing, by the time you decide to do that 21-day fast in spring, you're actually not trying to detox from the getting the physical toxins out. You're not going to detox at all. You're going to do what fasting is intended for. It is a connection to the divine. It is to hear the divine. It is to hear direction from the divine. It is to hear guidance from the divine. So I teach daily detoxing, taking sea salt baths, doing oil pulling, doing kidney liver flushes, staying in the sun when possible, right? So we forgot how that you won't have to have this big detox once or twice a year if you were already detoxing during your every single day, and not harshly. It's gentle, it's natural, it's normal. So we want to make living right more natural than living not so right and having to detox because we didn't do what we thought we wanted to do or should have done or would have done or could have done. So that's my perspective of detoxing. So I teach a course in everything you ever want to know about daily detoxing. But then I had women that came into my life and says, I work in corporate America, or I work at a job that is just, I'm stressed out. There's toxins that come from that as well. People sending you negative vibes. That's like heavy on you, and you might not could see it, but it's there. And so a sea salt bath is great for having a hard day at work or a hard week at work or just a hard life. Taking daily sea salt baths will pull out the toxins on a physical level, will clean your aura, so on a spiritual level, and also calm your mind on a mental level, and as well as really take aches and pains out your body as well. So it's a beautiful thing. So many little things that we do, we don't realize it's daily detoxing. And if we realized it, we would actually get more out of it, because when you're conscious of something, really it has much more power. So that's detoxing for me.
Yeah. So yeah. So on the forms of detoxing and understanding it, you know, like once people have cleared some of this detoxing, do you feel that when a lot of women have their own personal issues, like for instance things like fibroids or thyroids, do you think that the toxination affects these things?
You know what? I think it's always the question, what comes first, the chicken or the egg, right? And I'll tell you what I mean by that, right? I think that toxins don't come from just out of the blue. I think that toxins are more about an emotional state. So it's having that emotional state, having that fear or that anger or that sadness or that unforgiveness, that regret, that doubt, and being mad every day and going to work and holding on to the relationship that didn't work out. Now that forms what we call the toxin. The toxin could be the fibroid tumor. The toxin can be the overactive or underactive thyroid. The toxin can be the uterine, even cancer. So I feel like and that's what my academy is about, is getting down to the emotional root. Because women, men, I know maybe I don't want to say it, but men, we are the emotional ones. And there's nothing wrong with that, because that helps us to feel for our offspring, to care for our children, to breastfeed, to have a bond that is needed between mother and child. So us being emotional is actually a beautiful thing. We feel things. Think about emotions. If you look at it on a spiritual level, it's just really being very intuitive. That's what a sensitive person is. They're intuitive. They feel everything. And on a spiritual level, that's good. And in ancient times, men looked for our women to be the spiritual ones. In other words, the intuitive ones. In other words, the feeling or emotional ones. But in this society, because we are still those feeling and feeling entities, feeling, beings, now we're feeling all of the exhaust from the cars, but also the relationship and holding space for our men and the children and what's going on around us. And so it's like, put a woman in a beautiful environment where she feels loved, protected, and nurtured, and you would see her emotions lift us up as a race of people, lift us up as humanity, as opposed to those emotions now causing fibroids or any other kind of disease. So yeah, dealing with the emotional level is a beautiful thing. And I think Black women are really ready for it. I know the women I work for, they want to win. They want to win, and I want them to win. So yeah.
Yeah. So in its entirety, it's best in a format of understanding partnerships and understanding, able to relate to the partner. But then how do you perceive that, and what you've learned through your relationships is how would you explain it for a woman to able to understand, a man to understand the woman, and a woman to understand her man? How very important is that?
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, Terry, that's really beautiful. It's so important. I think, it is the yin and the yang, as they say. It's the moon and the sun, right? So we need both. And that's the thing. And the thing I think we got to realize is we need both together. We need them to exist together as one. But I think that understanding the differences is what makes them equal. We think equal is the same amount on each side. So, but it's not. And that's what we got to look at relationships differently. When we talk about equality, I believe, we talk about equality in relationships, we're talking about what a man feels emotionally, what he naturally does, and what a woman feels emotionally naturally does. So what men have to know about women is we really do have, when we say, baby, don't go out there. You know, I feel like tonight's it's not a good night for you to go down that street. Don't go visit that friend today. A lot of men, especially young men, they be like, oh, forget it. I'm gonna go see my boy. Girl, you don't know, I'm not gonna listen to you. But see, she felt it on it. That's her job. She can feel things that are going on throughout in the ethers, and she connects to that. And so he has to understand that she's not trying to just keep him in or doesn't want him not to see his friends. I mean, your grandmother, your great grandmother, your mother used to tell you that. A man got to understand that woman, your woman, the respect that you give your mother, if you give your mother respect, then you have to understand that she is a mother in a sense, in the making, and possibly the mother of your child. So she has that same intuition that your grandmother had. So she can feel things that she does not see. Now, a man, on the other hand, in some aspects, I'm being very general, of course, in some aspects, men have to feel it. They have to taste it. They have to touch it. Then it's real. So to them, what women have to understand is a man, to me, has to feel it, touch it, and see it to make it real. So when you come to him and say, I felt, he can't go sometimes with that. But he has to learn how to. But you also have to understand that how does he use his feeling nature? He uses it to get things done. So how you work in harmony is if the woman has the intuition, the idea, the thought, the suggestion, the man is the one that's going to implement it. I even break it down more. The woman says, I dreamt tonight that we should move, that we should buy a house, and there's a house available to us. And I think it's on the other side of town, and I know we should go. And he'll go, but the realtor didn't say this. I never saw the house. She go, baby, you have to listen to me. We need to go, forget the realtor. We got to go to see this house. What the man does is says, okay, get yourself dressed, get in the car, and let's go. So she had the idea, and he brought it forth. And he drove them, and they got there, and the house was available. The house was there, and it both worked out. So I think if we have an understanding that we're on the same team, and we have an understanding as a man and a woman that we both want to win, then I think we'll have less problems. I think we'll have less disharmony. So it's that kind of understanding. And if both had that, then one wouldn't feel superior than the other or less than the other. It would be a more equal, a balancing, I believe. So yeah, that's my thoughts.
Okay. So on
communication.
Go on.
No, that's it. Just bad communication all round.
All round. Yeah, and
right.
Now that we kind of got into that relationship, we want to talk about consumption that we're having today in this nowadays, because as well as we're going through these relationships or partnerships, we want to know that we are consuming the right foods, because you see, a lot of people don't really understand by just thinking that we can just quickly go and eat something, it will fix the job. But some of the foods that we have out here are very detrimental to our health because we're not in the environment of where we're supposed to be and eating the foods that we're not really meant to be eating, because our diet is very different.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I you know what? Absolutely. First of all, yes, absolutely. I will even ask this. Let's talk about why we eat. When we're going for that hamburger or that fried chicken or whatever that food that's from a fast food restaurant, particularly I see in the States all the time, what are we trying to fulfill? Because you said it, when we say, I remember growing up as a child and you would eat your food, your mother would ask you, are you full? Did you get full? Are you full? Is the belly full? So we understand that eating has something to do with fulfillment, to feel full, right? But what are we really trying to, when we're eating, are we fulfilling our bodies with nutrients? Because this is what our bodies is really craving, not food per se, but the nutrients in the food. Or are we eating because we feel empty? even men. So are we eating because we go to that job we hate? We're having that relationship that we don't both understand and we're fighting. We're having not, we're not living our dreams, you know? So I think that a lot of times we're eating. So I think first, before we talk about what we should be eating, we should talk about why we're eating. And a lot of us are eating not because we're hungry, not because we want nutrients or we want to be healthy. It's because we want to forget. We want to dull. We want to numb ourselves because food can be that. So you got to think the addiction comes in when you keep eating food. What about those that finally do know that these foods are not that healthy, but it's hard for them to stop? See, now that's where detoxing comes back again, because that food is in your system and it's just like like crack cocaine. It just keep calling you. So in other words, you have to understand that. You got to say to yourself, wow, I'm not eating because I'm hungry. I'm not eating because I want nutrients. I'm eating because I'm not fulfilled. And if once I feel fulfilled or happy or joyful, I would actually make better choices. So in my academy, I change your mind around food. I help you understand why you're eating. And then guess what? Once they get that, it's a lot easier now to introduce them to a meal plan, certain kinds of greens, you know, certain foods that we do eat as Africans. A lot easier. If you don't change that mind, you're going to have a hard time convincing them that this is better food or this is not even food and this is really food. So that's I go down to the root, you know, that's where I'm working and bring it up to the branch, you know, so yeah.
Yeah, and like for the public out there, especially for the ladies, and understanding the forms of beauty. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of women out here that use certain beauty which it cannot be right for their skin or for not right mm-hmm. for their body. How would you mm-hmm. perceive to tell people to uplift themselves in forms mm-hmm. of beauty? What can they use and how can they deal with it?
Yeah, great. Another great question. See, my thing is, first of all, understanding that the way you are, I can take off these rings and then I can take off these earrings and I'm still beautiful. I mean, see, now stop there because that people might be like, really? There's a belief that we're not enough. And as Black women, there's more of a belief that we're not enough. So for Black women, everything, a lot of times, not all, everything I'm saying, everybody, please don't take it personally. I'm saying it in general, I'm using generalizations. But for Black women, for us, a lot of times it's our skin is not light enough or bright enough or clear enough or smooth enough. We're not thin enough or thick enough. Our butts is not big enough. So when you're talking about Black women beauty, this thing is loaded because we are so fixated on what we see out here that we don't remember what was really in here. So when we start understanding that I don't want to say, you know, beauty's only skin deep and that we're more than just our outer appearance, because when you fix this is automatically beautiful. This will automatically glow. So you won't have to use these artificial products. So a lot of this makeups that women put on to make their skin look like it's glowing. With actuality, you can eat cucumbers or bell peppers or avocados or even chia seeds, and you'll get the same beautiful glowing skin. So I would ask women everything you say you want. So if I had a woman that came to me, she says, I want to be more beautiful, and she says, what products do I need to use? Because I get that all the time. So I say, well, actually, you know, your beauty is really not based on the products, except that if the products are toxic, then that's going to hurt you. Your beauty is based on how you feel about yourself. Because when you feel better about yourself, you start using foods to become more beautiful. Another thing, but of course, as Africans, we know this. We put things on our body to stay beautiful. We have to protect ourselves from the harshness of the weather. So we have natural things that do that. So if they say I use something here in the States called Nubia or Palmolive or what, I'm sorry, that's like a dishwasher liquid. But anyway, Pond's or Olive Olay or whatever they use, I just say, but look what's in that. Now, you want smooth, pretty skin, shea butter will do that. So you have to offer them the alternatives, but first you have to ask them what they think beauty is. And once they realize, oh my gosh, I can be my most beautiful without being artificial, you know, without having to get plastic surgery, without having to use products that I see on TV. You got to understand, YouTube, the beauty industry is huge. And Black women with the beauty industry, they're big, the makeup tutorials and all these other things. When I watch those, I go, oh my God, that stuff is poison. Like, don't put that ish on your face, you know. But then how do you allow them to know? Because women, it's natural for women to want to be beautiful. But the thing is, the beauty really is within. And the beauty within that, within beauty, it's long lasting. So you can drink more water and your skin will glow more. You'll lose more weight and you'll keep off the fat. So ancient African wisdom or ancient African healing, whichever way you want to put it, for the modern sister. How do you take today's woman who is inundated by social media, and how do you show her that we've always had the answers to beauty? We used to take sea salt baths and take saunas and steam baths. So once you understand that, look and show pictures of the ancients and how beautiful they were, they really understand, oh my gosh, you mean I was born with this? All I got to do, this melanin is protecting me from a lot. How do I protect it? That's the question. So yeah, that's how I help them. I ask questions and then I ask them what they want and then I provide natural alternatives. Not just an alternative, seem like alternative, the right way to go for their health and longevity.
Yeah, this is where we're kind of talking about. We're going to have a little quick break and talk about what we're doing in June, where we're trying to make our way to the US in June, and we will be putting up the GoFundMe website to log into. Which is about the UK USA link up.
Yes.
We're asking people to go to our GoFundMe page and able to fund us so that we can buy and carry a lot of equipment with all our medias from the UK, as well as bringing the prices down for anyone that wants to come from the UK or anywhere else with us to come to the United States to work with our brothers and sisters at the Sinetta Awards, where we can network and understand that we can bridge that gap amongst us all. So because it's vital for us to come together in that entirety of, even in the forms of trade, understanding that we need to liaise with products that you are creating in the States and products that are created in the UK. So once we can have that bridge and that bond, we can have a better understanding of around the globe and able to, as an African diaspora, able to provide some of these great sources, like as we were talking about the shea butter, from places like Africa, like places like the Caribbean, where we can actually give people work and jobs and things to do, because these other places are the kind of sources of where we can get our products from. So by us working with people in the USA, it shows collaboration amongst us all in that entirety of the African diaspora, collaborating with the African people. So we become that one, you know, in that unity, so that we can able to provide and look after the children, as in being a worldwide village. So we're asking for people to go to our GoFundMe UK USA, GoFundMe UK USA link up. So it's GoFundMe /USA link up. I will put it in the chat room. And if there's anyone in the chat room that needs to be any questions you want to ask, please put it into the inbox, and then we will ask the questions as much as possible. So, as well as Richie,
talk to me, brother.
Yeah, give them a little demonstration of the website that is being created and what's been happening, and because we want to give people the update of everything we're doing. This is why we always ask for the to go to the PayPal and able to help us fund certain things, because we've got our feet on the ground. It's not just about talking, but it's actually doing the job and taking the action.
Wow, this is it. Like, and again, people gotta realize, as my brother was saying, it's about economics to support these movements. Information is priceless, but getting it out there yeah, again, comes with a cost as well. Yeah, and people need to understand that it's all well and good looking at the shows, but we all need to be supported. There's products, as the sister said, there's alternatives for everything we're saying, or she may be telling the sisters that is poison or not to use. Again, she's providing alternatives, and they require support from our community. Yeah, so again, from that level, we have to.
Yeah, and explain to the public
As
about
far as
the website.
as far as the website goes now, people, what we gotta understand is there's a new website coming, Black Ice Stores. Yeah, it's gonna be launching within the next few days. But I don't even want to say too much because again, we're gonna be having a show on Monday. We're looking for where we're gonna go into it a bit more, talk about it, but it's gonna be covering all your fashion, your health, and your books, DVDs, lectures, your educational side. Yeah, again, giving that complete scope. So as the sister said,
Yeah, and in that entirety, we're gonna have a very big special guest on that day.
Listen, don't even tell her, don't even say nothing. Just
I'm not telling it. It's a secret,
it.
bruv. It's a secret. You have to give it to the public, so they will have to tune in to see what is going on.
That's all. Yeah.
You know,
Sister,
as
though.
I said, there's someone big that's coming on Monday, a special guest. He's decided that he's going to decide to come on and give us the information and talk about some big things that are happening in forms of collaboration and what's happening in the future. But at the same time, we want to talk our sister on the other side, Nubia. We want to know a bit, just give the people the information on the website and what your the activation of your website, what it does.
Sure, yeah. So if you are interested in any products, services, I have videos on there that's free. I actually have another YouTube channel called Afrocentric Home Decor and Style. So lots of things. But if you want to get in touch with me or you want to find my website, it is BLACKBERRY Beauty Academy. So really simple. BLACKBERRY is BERRY, like the fruit. BlackBerryBeautyAcademy.com. BlackBerryBeautyAcademy.com. If you want to find me on YouTube, it's also BlackBerry Beauty Academy at YouTube. So you can find me there as well. And yeah, those are the best places that you can find me. I do YouTubes. I got a channel. I think I got about 35,000. And I have a new channel called Afrocentric Home Decor, but you can always find me on that one as well. And I come on often. I also am on Facebook, and my Facebook for the public is, again, BlackBerry Beauty Academy. So I keep it all the same, make it as easy as possible. And I would love to, read your comments. I will come back to this video when it's on YouTube and read your comments. And I would ask people, to support Black Ice TV 7. And also share these videos. These videos are very important to somebody. Somebody really might need it. It might be an answer to a prayer. And so I want you to please share the videos too. Very important. That's one way. If you can, everybody can give in some way. And I think about this, when I think about my business, we all have something we can give. And so in order to receive, it's good to receive, but it's also good to give. So if you don't feel like you have money, share the video, talk about it, tell people about the Gold Fund. Those things help as well. I got a lot of people to my channel because they shared the video and somebody else saw it. So yeah, so I hope to see you on my video channel, or I hope to see you on my website, or I hope to see you in person, maybe at a speaking engagement, possibly in the UK again, definitely in the US. So yeah, son, I'm thankful, very thankful to Richard and Mr. Riggs.
Okay, so let's get back in. Let's dig in a little bit more about Lisa Nubia GOODSON.
Yeah, Nubia's fine. Nubia's good. I like Nubia.
First of all, I want you to explain to the public, why did you call your brand BlackBerry Beauty Academy?
Yeah. So I was telling Richard, Terry, and I loved it. I love to repeat it because I think it's important. I got some other things I thought about. Yeah, I think that, so this idea of, I was telling this on a live stream the other day, in the US, probably everywhere, but I only can speak from the US point of view. During the 60s and the 70s, which was very much us fighting for our rights, fighting for our civil rights. Actually, as Black people, always really fighting in this country for anything that we gain, we earn. So we had to fight for it. And so as we were fighting for our rights, there was this wonderful sayings that came about out of the 60s and 70s movement. And it was Kwame Ture, also known as Stokely Carmichael. And he said these two words. He said Black power. And also James Brown at a similar time made a song saying, say it loud, I'm Black and I'm proud. So why was that so revolutionary? Because back then, if you called another Black person Black, or you called it, because we were colored then, or Negroes, if you called us Black, those were fighting words. So even Black people didn't want to be Black because the society made us feel like Black is ugly, Black is lazy, Black is shiftless. This was the belief. This is what they told you. So when they said Black power, you mean we're powerful? And then James Brown says, say it loud, I'm Black and I'm proud. And then the other one that came out was Black is beautiful. Huge, big, Black and beautiful in the same sentence can't be. So it really rose the consciousness of us, our esteem. We started feeling good wearing our hair and our afros and the way they grew naturally and wearing clothes from the continent. So I feel like even though this has been 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years since that movement, we have not moved too far. And we still think that anything Black is ugly, that Black of us is the ugliest of us. So it was important for me to put the words Black and beauty together. And the berry connects it because there's this idea that Black women are hard, that Black women are mean, that Black women are tough, that Black women are sassy, but never that Black women are soft. Black women are gentle, Black women are loving. And so the berry represents the sweetness in us. So that's what I came up. And also, again, like my husband really gave me the name. I think I was playing with the Blackberry Beauty, but actually he gave it. He said, you should call it the Blackberry Beauty Academy. And that comes from, I told Richard, it comes from the African-American proverb, the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. Okay. And that was said to you by your mother or grandmother when you were being teased because you were dark-skinned. People like, you so Black, you so ugly, you burnt toast, you, all these names and horrible things that we say when we self-hate. And so your mother would turn around and say, baby, don't listen to him. Do you know what? You know what? The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. So look, when you go to the supermarket, most likely you see a strawberry that look kind of whitish or not too, or pink. You see one that's dark red, you're going to go for the dark red. You're going to go for the dark red blueberry. You're going to go for the dark red strawberry. You're going to go dark red. So it really is true. The raspberry, the darker the blackberry, the darker the berry, the sweeter the juice. And that's the truth. So that's where it came from.
Sister, listen, we're getting some comments from the chat. Yeah, I would say big up to the chat room. Big up to Kiss. Big up to Melanin. Big up to Chris Woods. Yeah, big up to MBK again. Goddess. Yeah, Empowerment. Goddess Sekhmet. Yeah, but one of the questions someone's asking, yeah, is what's your view on marriage? Yeah, what's your marriage, especially when we're doing it in a westernized way? Is that starting off on the right or wrong foot? Like, what are your views on marriage?
See, when people say westernized way, I think they're implying that to be monogamous is westernized, that we're technically or traditionally from a polygamous societies. And see, that's not true for all of Africa, that we were all in polygamous societies. And I think that the reality is we are here. I mean, we're fighting for our rights to be here. We're fighting for our rights to be human here. Most of us are not going to go back to Africa because we still have to work and we still have to get ourselves together. We still have to form great relationships. If we didn't learn it here, we ain't going to learn it there. We have to know that. So I think that I'm all about marriage. I think that that is the saving grace of our communities, because strong Black marriages produce strong Black children, which produces a strong Black nation. I think that Black men and women, we have to learn how to love each other without thinking about loving 2 and 3 and 4. And I think that the ones that do it, that you can see it in their children and their children's children, it just creates a security. The children of that union need to feel secure. You know, there's a Malian singer, his name is Habib Koiti, and he made a song about polygamy. This is a man, and he said that it was horrible. It almost ruined them because the women would fight. He talked about the women being sad and unhappy, which then the children were. So it's not what everybody thinks. And if I don't know if people were referring to that or not, but for me, I think that since we are in a Western society, we need to come together the most. Think about it. I know this, that when we were enslaved, we were during the enslavement Holocaust, for those that don't know, that's slavery in the US. During that time, when Black people were finally so-called freed, the first thing they went to look for was their kin, which is their offspring. They went to look for their wives. They went to look for their children. So family to Black people is very, very important. And I think that we need to start returning back to the truth of that we need stronger, happier, more vibrant families, because once you got a strong family, you got a team. And once you got a team, you got a community. And once you have a community, you have a nation. So the fact that it starts with the two, that's what it was. If the Adam and Eve story is true, I know Adam is Black and Eve is Black, and I get that, Adam, then they were one that came together to create more than one. And that's the blessing. So I'm always, hey, big up to Black marriages, big up to Black love. I want to see more of it, much more.
Definitely. Another question that's just come through is, what do you think of the kingship or kinship between Africans and those of African descent? Yeah. So what are those relations? Because obviously with your organization, as you're saying, from the very name, you're trying to go back to the source, kind of pay reverence to that. But in your opinion, how do you view that?
Yeah, I think it's everything. I think that there's this, not so much a myth, but I think that we have been divided, but I think that that's what the enemy does. It tells Caribbean folks that they're better than Black Americans. It tells Black Americans that they're better than Africans. It tells Africans that they're better than all of us. So it's the BS that's being felt. But in actuality, when we all come together, we see the similarities. The thread is throughout all of those. And the root is Africa, but Africans need African Americans as well as Caribbean Americans as much as we need each other. We all need each other. Because if we're talking about the art of war. I mean, I need to know that you know that terrain, and I know, and I'm over here, I know this terrain, and you over there, and you know that terrain, because we can corner the enemy so he cannot escape. And what we're doing now is we're allowing him to keep us so distant and apart, thinking that we're not Africans. Just because I don't speak the language, I am still an African, removed perhaps, but an African nevertheless. And I think as African Americans, Caribbean Americans, we have to start saying that we're Africans. We have to start acknowledging that we're Africans. And I do think that we should at all costs create alliances with Africans. Start very simply. If you always hang out with people that's from your culture, start hanging out with people that's not. In other words, hang out with other Black people and learn their ways, and you'll find that it's very similar to yours. That's what I see. My father's a Trinidad. I didn't grow up with him. I've been to Trinidad enough times. I got African friends, but it's the similarities, the root. They didn't kill it. They didn't kill it. They tried. They don't understand it. They think that they can separate us because of language or accent or geographical places. But in actuality, once we get together and they know that, we are the same. We want the same. We feel the same. We emote the same. We have the same ways of expressing ourselves. We have the same ways of dancing. We have the same ways of loving, of communicating in actuality. But we miss that because we fall for the okie doke. And the okie doke is the BS, that we're different. And so we got to stop that. We just got to stop our children from talking to Blacks and the Caribbeans talking about Black Americans, Black men stop. Let's bring back the power of ourselves. So I think we can make it, we can have better relationships, and I believe that we're working on it. So thank you. I'm sorry, got some. Okay, good. Oh, I don't want that. Hold on, y'all. Okay, good. All right.
Getting some pop-ups on your screens, yeah?
Yes.
That's cool. Listen, I want to thank, we got a couple new listeners, some people coming in. This is another UK USA link-up show by Black Ice TV 7. Go there, subscribe, YouTube channel. And this is Queen Nubia talking to us today, about the motivational tools that she uses to achieve health and wealth, for our Black sisters. So that has been the subject. We are taking questions now from the chat room, so that's what we've been doing for the last couple minutes. Riggsy, you got anything you want to add to the conversation?
Yeah, as I said, please, people, go fund me.
That's it.
We need your donations. We need people to come in, and even if it's just a $1 or £1, we're asking you to help us donate, because you know what? For us to get over there and for us to able to collaborate, we need that funding to get us over there. So I'm asking you, just put that little £1 in, or that $1. It's nothing special, nothing big. You know, you can buy that Kentucky Fried Chicken, which is not even good for you.
That's right. That's right.
And it's very poisonous.
Yes.
So instead of putting toxins and poison in your body, you could just put that £1 donation, you know, or that $1 donation. But yeah, getting back to what we was talking about, in understanding of our situation of day to day, and I always say that we always, instead of us thinking of fighting to get to Africa, or to be identified as being African, it's always in our mindset. And how we make our mindset is what judges us, how we deal with things today. Now, understanding that what in your perspective are the right things to do so that we can able to maintain, even in the forms of marriages, our partners, our children, in forms of foods. I just want you to give us some information on that.
Yeah, forms of food. Okay, so this, brothers, this will be my last question, only because I have a live stream with my course. I teach a course at night at 7 p.m., so I'll have to go, but I'm so glad.
Yeah, and I want you to give people direction on how to get to the course.
Okay, good. I'll make sure I will. Thank you, Terry. So the question is the idea of food, relationship. Like, you know, I know what you're asking, and so I'm going to say the first thing that came to my mind was know thyself. See, it's hard to know what to eat, who to date, where to live, even where to invest your money. So you'll talk about the Gold Fund. You're asking Black people to give money to support the connection, the linking between the U.S. and the U.K. The reason why most of us, we have a hard time with that, because if we don't know ourselves, usually we don't love ourselves. So if we don't love ourselves, we don't love the people that look like us. And if we don't love ourselves, we don't really eat foods that's going to fortify ourselves. So in the beginning, it's always know thyself. It's written on the walls of Kemet, hieroglyphics, know thyself. So you have to know thyself in order to start to eat better. And I think that's the thing. That's why I love our communities, where we have our scholars, and then we have our health advocates, and then we have our all kinds of Black, educators in so many different ways. And I think that it's the coming together of us. I think as Black folks, especially in our conscious communities, we have to let go of the ego. We have to let go of wanting to be the leader of the community, the one that's on top. Because then when somebody says, if Layla Africa gives one opinion about what to eat, I believe it, take it. But if Queen Afua gives another one, and it seems a little like they're contradicting, although I'm sure they're not, it's okay. The message can be for you. Black folks, although we're so alike, we're also each individually different, and we're dealing with different aspects or at different times in our lives. So we have to have all of the information. So I think for us, I think as advocates, I think as counselors and healers, sometimes we confuse our community, not by the different information that we all have. That's fine. It's different information for different people. I think it's the ego that somebody else's is wrong. We got to start showing our community that may need help in eating, that we're healthy. It's not enough to say, I eat well, but you're mean, or I eat well, but you put people down, or you cuss people out. So I think that us as so-called leaders, so-called healers, we have to get right. And so and once we start loving ourselves and treating ourselves the way you see our leaders, so-called leaders, our conscious community calling each other names, arguing like people on the street, that's not really cool. And so we have to be okay with you can feel that, and that's good information, but you have good information as well, and so do you. And I think so the healing of our community is the healing of our community. And I think we have so much layers of damage, so much layers of trauma, that even the ones that are most educated or self-educated, whether that is in our struggle, is struggling. And that's a problem. So there's not just food for the mouth, there's food for thought. And once we let go of the ego, Black folks, that's not us. It's not. We're a beautiful people. And we have to, I remember the Ivan Van Sertima, the Dr. Ben, the Dr. Clark, they would never argue amongst each other. They would always say, hey, that's Dr. Clark's expertise. Let me refer you to my colleague over here. We have to start doing that, or we're going to be in trouble. And I really see it. But again, it's the same kind of disunity, no umoja. We got to have unity. And we've been fighting for it. And I don't know what we're going to do, but know thyself. Know thyself. And then you'll know what to eat. So that's mine. And so if people want to catch me again, my YouTube is BLACKBERRY Beauty Academy. My website is blackberrybeautyacademy.com. And I think that's it. My YouTube, my website. Yeah, I think that's it. So I hope that helps. And it's been a pleasure, ladies. Everybody, comment, share, because they're having a GoFund and they need people to the more people that knows about it, the more people that will support it. So I want to thank you, brothers, for having me. I'm going to rest my
and we would love you to come back and give some more information, because especially the ladies, they're always tuned into what you've got to say and what you've got to talk about. And we would like to keep on that relationship going, as well as trying to get you come over to the UK so that we can have a much more deeper in depth talk with our women over here, as well as the men, because it's a joint enterprise with both of us, and trying to get our health in the right perspective of our way of empowering our new generation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I thank you so much. We will definitely hook it up. Thank you for, really getting me this time. You was like, look, girl, you need to come on. So I'm so glad that I did. And I thank you both. I send you love, peace, blessings, divine health, and I will see you soon. I feel like this is the beginning of some very powerful work together. So I thank you.
Most definitely. Again, people, this has been another Black Eyes TV production. Bring you that realness. Look out. Frog in my throat. Look out for us next week. Bring you some big shows, some very big shows for next week. Talking about economics, doing this thing big. Support the channel. Yeah, the PayPal button, click. Go to the GoFundMe link in the chat. Support Black media. Yeah. This is Black Eyes TV. We are.
And before we quickly come out, I just wanted to give the relay of apologizing for all the delays and for all the situations that we're having. We're trying to perfect it, and as I said, is help us in many ways to perfect the channel and to improve in whatever it is. If you have certain situations or in ways of helping us, collaborating and working, as well as we're not just working with people in the States, we want to be working with our own people in the UK and across Europe. So we will be having some intelligent shows coming out throughout this rest of this week. And like we missed out on what we call the Ancestral Voices, it will definitely be relocated on Tuesday. And then on Thursday, we're going to have another deep history, like as we had before. Check out the Asar and the information that he released. We're going to have another historian, and we know we're coming from the schools of the MBK. So we've got the powerhouse man coming in on Thursday. So it's something that you've got to wait for and then conduce the information, because we are about the truth and we are about the school of thought. So if you are ready to come on board, strap your seatbelts on and come on board to what we need to talk about. So if you have someone that needs to get their voice heard, Black Eyes TV is the place. So as I always say, spend black, be black, move black, even think black, because you are black. But as I always say when I listen to Callum, as in Titans TV, man. Or if I listen to the what we call it on the contents of everything, and we've got the group called Gang, guiding a new generation, respect to respect, and the big man Jedi. So, you know, we're making moves within this UK paradigm, and it's all about our health.
TV, brother. Don't forget HMP TV.
Yeah, I won't forget HMP TV, because that's a brother from another mother, and we've got big things coming along with them. And don't forget, we've got even some of the people in-house that are going to be releasing documentaries. We've got people doing different types of documentaries. So we are making big moves for 2018. Even this book that we've got that's coming up, which is going to be a photography book. So we want people to come into most of our events or any events that we're at, because some of these pictures are going to be in this legacy history in the making book. It's going to be powerful so that you can have a legacy for this new generation. I want everybody to be in this book so that we can carry this book as a legacy. So people in the USA, make sure you reach the Signetta Awards, because we're going to be taking pictures out there. And people in the UK, wherever events that you find us, I need you to be there. That's why we need your support. So please, please, please help us as much as possible, because we can't just be one-man army doing it ourselves. We need a collaboration of the whole community as a form of a village raising a child. So what I call that is hashtag power moves. Richie.
Yeah, that's all, people. You know what time it is. Black Eyes TV in the house again. Peace.